I'm not ready to go yet, okay? I'm not ready. You gotta wait. I got shit to do. I'm in the middle of something, all right? Just hold on.
Watch your mouth or don't come in here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, people, come on, we're adults here.
You know what? What is the point?
Yeah, we're adults here. I got a fucking Burger King fucking thing on my head. We're all fucking adults here, guys. People in my chat, 2 words. What are they? 2 words. Let me see the chat flood. Let me see the chat flood. 2 words. Okay, next caller. Please. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which translate in American to dick and balls.
I got flip-flops. These are my flip-flops. Yeah, I really like my flip-flops because I can put them on. Because look, watch me put them on. I can put them on all by myself. Watch me put them on. Look, are you watching? Look, these are my flip-flops.
Thanksgiving Day. I remember it clearly. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was inserting myself in somebody else's fucking business as a cash grab, and you know.
This channel is harsh reality.
Karen Yak se jodió la sucia vida. Amen.
This is Jonathan Lee Riches. I have cheeseburgers. I'm gonna put cheese on them. I'm gonna make sure that I have my hamburgers because I'm a big boy now and I can make the hamburgers. My mom lets me use the stove now.
And I'm just like, wow, I like receipts, and they brought receipts. Like they had evidence to back up everything they said. And I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another side to this, right? Like this can't. No, this is too fantastic.
Yeah, because you're not going to just jump to the conclusion that there's a conspiracy amongst cops to cover up a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, cops and just like soccer moms and shit. Like that's what made it even crazier. Like,
yeah, get it, Betty. Yeah,
did you have a close relationship with your mom?
Get it, Betty.
Oh, of course, I still do.
Yeah.
My older sister was kind of sad. She was more of the prissy girl, like
that is the best shit fucking
shopping for dresses with mommy. I was the tomboy that liked playing with.
Shout out to Cherry for just being just easily the most faithful and loyal supporter that I've ever had. That someone could have that tenacity with loyalty. And I'm really blessed to have someone like Cherry be part of this channel and in my life. So it means a lot. And yes, I named him after Mr. T and Rocky. Say, woman.
Karen left the waterfall bound for Fairview Road.
Woo! Good afternoon, my friends. It's good to see you guys again. It's been a minute. I realize that. I mean, you guys act like I haven't been here forever. Like I've been in jail for too much or some shit. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I got here when I could, dude. I don't know what to tell you. But it's great to be here, and it's great to see you guys again. Seriously. But yeah, I know. You wrong. You wrong. Yeah, it seems seems I've been rubbing people the wrong way a little bit lately, but not used to that. But yeah, I've been I got a new chair. You know what's funny is I got this thing. I ordered it and totally forgot that I ordered it. And I got it while I was like really sick. And I thought that it was something else that I was gonna have to put together. I mean, I had to put this thing together, but I thought it was something else that I had to put together. And I just like got it off the porch and then just stuck it in a corner somewhere. I was just like, I'll deal with that. Like when I deal with it, you know, there's no way being this sick, I'm going to deal with it. And then like yesterday, I got like an email from Amazon and they were like, how do you like your new chair? I was like, what? So I was like, oh shit, okay. And you know, the name brand of the chair is like all over the box. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess it's the chair. So I went ahead and just, you know, put it together. And I'm glad I did because it's a comfy chair. It's decent. It reclines way back. Pretty nice. And yes, Michael Proctor is in a hearing right now. I don't think that we'll hear any results today, but we're going to discuss that as much as we can anyway. Well, it's Lisa. It's not difficult to insult Krusty ever. I mean, she makes it very, very, very easy. She makes it very easy. What are you doing, dude? Okay. All right. So yeah, we are going to explore a little bit of Twitter X, because most of the stuff that I want to talk about is stuff that has happened more or less on there the last couple of days. And I'm going to talk about some stuff that I know some people don't agree with, and you know, it is what it is. But yeah, and man, that's crazy, Peggy. The National Guard, like, dude, it's like those fires are just still fucking going and they're not doing anything. Like it's crazy. Like I don't understand why if there's a water issue. Now, okay, now I'm not a fire expert, okay? I saw that Bill Burr got a bunch of shit because he went on Jimmy Kimmel and he was making fun of internet people who were like, oh, internet people are such fire experts, blah, blah, blah. I'm not claiming to be a fire expert, but water's water, bro. And listen, I don't give a fuck about the grasshoppers, dude. I don't give a fuck about the tiny little fish. I don't give a fuck. Not when it comes to people's fucking houses burning down and people dying. You know what I'm saying? Like, just fucking get the water out of the fucking ocean, dude. I realize salt water, I mean, but it's water, you know? It's water. Like, just fuck it. Put those fucking fires out. Or, I mean, dude, listen, if I can get a fucking slice of pizza in fucking Knoxville using water to make the dough shipped from New York, You could fucking put out that fucking fire, dude. Like, you could ship water, dude. Ship the fucking water from another state. Whatever. Put the fucking fire out. I don't understand this. But again, I don't know shit about fire. So, but I find it interesting that it's happening now. The worst fire in California history happening right now when the country is socially on fire and has been. I find that to be pretty interesting timing. But, I mean, but it was so paranoid to think that COVID was, it was so paranoid to think that there was some sort of motive behind COVID. That was really paranoid. But whatever. Whatever, man. All I know is people that I care about in California are safe. That's all I care about right now. Honestly. But because what else am I gonna do? Otherwise, I'm gonna sit here and be like, put the fucking fire out, like, constantly. That's what I'm gonna be doing. What's up, Kelly Reed? Good to see you. Right on. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. And the link for Karen Reed's Defense Fund is pinned to the top of the chat. As usual, if I don't have that pinned there, I'll have Turtle Boys. Either one. Both are in the description. So if you were feeling generous, they could both use some help with their defense funds. I mean, that is if, proving the corruption in Norfolk County is important to you, because that's not gonna get done. I could tell you that right now without Betterow, Bradle, Jackson, Yannetti, Alessi. I mean, without all of these and without all of these attorneys being able to pay their bills, they're not going to be able to effectively defend these people, and their defense is part of their defense is proving the corruption. I mean, they are being railroaded. Both of these people, both Karen Reed and Aiden Carney, are being railroaded by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Period. So now, and a big shout out, happy belated birthday to Nurse Kim, who turned 39. And I only remember that because of the goals that was set for raising money for Karen Reed. And she, for her birthday, a lot of people donated $3 or some variation of $3.9. Just depends on how many zeros you added to it. But it's really awesome that people donated and helped. Yeah, it's as terrible as this is, as terrible as what Karen's going through, as terrible as what Aiden's going through, the blessing in this is that it's brought us all together. So, I think it's not only okay, but great that we take some time from time to time to acknowledge the positive that's come out of this, which is all of us coming together and finding places in our hearts that some of us didn't even know really existed. It's a great thing to be part of. So I'm grateful to everybody who donated during my 12-hour stream, who donated during Nurse Kim's stream, who continues to donate, who continues to support all of the channels that are bringing awareness to this. It's just an amazing thing. I love you too, Nurse Kim. Happy belated birthday. Yeah, it's a hell of a thing. Yeah, and I got to meet a lot of really, really great people. And I'm hoping to meet a lot more because I will be going back to Boston at some point. It has become one of my favorite things to do is to go to Boston and visit with you guys. Now let's get into this real quick because there's quite a few things I want to talk about, and then there's going to be the phone lines. I'm going to open those at some point. What's up, dude? Hi. You saying hi to everybody? Love you, buddy. I know you ate all your food. Good boy. Yeah, you ate all your food because you wouldn't eat it yesterday. Now, so I'm not going to congratulate you on eating all your food, even though that's what you're looking for right now. Look at it, and then he gives me kisses because he knows. Shithead. Finicky little bastard. Yeah, I get it. You're over here too. I love you, buddy. So let's check this out real quick.
I've also heard this referred.
Now this is old Ted Daniel. Ted Daniel, who works for Boston 25. I like Ted Daniel a lot. He's a great dude.
Hi, everybody. This is Ted. I'm outside the State Police headquarters in Framingham for Trooper Michael Proctor's trial board hearing. I've also heard this referred to as a court-martial. Trooper Proctor will appear before 3 senior-level troopers appointed by the colonel, lieutenants or above, a representative from Division of Professional Standards, or...
Now, some of you might be thinking, just fire the guy. Just fire the fucking guy. I get it. Trust me. I get it. You guys are just like, fire the fucking guy. What is this? What is all this? What's with the dog and pony show? I don't understand. Well, it's not a dog and pony show. It's not. As much as I want to be like, oh, look at the Massachusetts State Police putting on this fucking grand show just to fucking satisfy everybody, but to make everybody think, no, man. I mean, dude, listen, dude, it's the Massachusetts State Police, okay? It's not McDonald's. They don't just fucking call you into the manager's office and go, hey, listen, here's your check. It's not what they do. It's not what they do. They have to go through a process. He has rights. He swore an oath. He has to go through a process. I know. I love you too, buddy. And I get that it's cold down here, but you're just gonna have to chill and wait. He's really spoiled because we have been just like, I'm not even trying to lie. I've been lazy as fuck since I got sick. And like, I've managed to make sure to go to the gym, but being at home, I have done nothing, fucking nothing. And me and him have been like cuddling tight for just days. And so I think he's like used to that. And now he just wants to go to bed. And I'm just like, nah, dude, like, life has to go on, bro. We can't do that shit forever. Yeah, like there's a process here. Like it or not, Michael Proctor has rights. And there's probably a union and all that shit. And there's just the whole process that comes with him being fired. Clubber, get out of there, dude. Come here. Come on. Get out of there. Come here. Don't. Oh my God, you're killing me right now, dude. Come on. Here you go. Now, this is here for a reason. It's a boundary to keep you out of that part of the room. There we go. Okay, yes, I love you too, buddy. So yeah, so this is what Ted Daniel is explaining here, and there is a process. So let's hear it one more time.
Outside the state police headquarters in Framingham for Trooper Michael Proctor's trial board hearing. I've also heard this referred to as a court-martial. Trooper Proctor will appear before 3 senior level troopers appointed by the colonel. Lieutenants are above. A representative from Division of Professional Standards or Internal Affairs will act as the prosecutor, lay out the evidence and the charges. The board will listen to all that. Proctor will have a chance to call any of his own witnesses, and then the board will decide guilty or not guilty on the charges and make a recommendation to the colonel as to discipline. The colonel gets the final say as to what happens. Don't expect any sort of decisions to be announced today.
There you go. Nice
Hi,
and
everybody.
easy. So I love that about Ted Daniel, dude. I love that shit. Like, I love that he does that. I love that he constantly tweets. If it's a competition between him and Christina Rex, he wins. Sorry, Christina Rex. I don't have a problem with Christina Rex. I really don't. I don't have an issue with Christina Rex. I mean, I have an issue with how Boston 10 itself has handled this case, but I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. Listen, I'm just I have an issue with mainstream media and how they've covered this case. And I've been following this case for well over a year, and it's bugging me how it's handled by mainstream media. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but let's discuss real quick. I want to go over this. And Christina Rex was quick to post this too, by the way, just to give her some credit. She was quick to post the decision made by Beverly Cannoni, Judge Beverly Cannoni, in regards to Dr. Marie Russell testifying. I haven't read it yet. I reposted it so that I could just click on it easy the next time I went live. And I honestly haven't read it yet. I just know that I know the result. I know that she's allowed to testify now. Awesome. Thank you, Bev. So I'm going to go ahead and read this real quick. So a memorandum of decision in order of Commonwealth's motion to exclude the testimony of Dr. Marie Russell. Before the court of the Commonwealth's motion to exclude the proposed expert testimony of Dr. Marie Russell. Dr. Russell intends to testify as to whether the abrasions on John O'Keefe's right arm were caused by a dog. The Commonwealth contends that the defendant has failed to show that her testimony meets the requirements set forth in blah, 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 blah. Although a close question, the court will deny the Commonwealth's motion. The discussion before a witness can provide expert testimony, the court, as the gatekeeper, quote unquote, must make a preliminary determination that the testimony has satisfied the requirements of admissibility. Expert testimony is admissible when the testimony concerns matters beyond the common knowledge of the jurors and will aid the jurors reaching a decision. Expert testimony is inadmissible, however, when the witness testifies to matters beyond her area of expertise. Right. Now, that's interesting. It's funny how she points that out, but it's also interesting when you watch Hank Brennan, the mob goon, the hired mob goon, when you watch him cross-examine and berate this woman on the stand, he talks about almost everything except dog bites. So it was really, really ridiculous. Like, this basically proves, like, Judge Beverly Cannoni, in her attempt to educate as to why she made the decision that she made, in her attempt to make this, to announce this decision and explain it and to educate, she basically lets us know that Hank Brennan did nothing here but bring this woman up to try to create a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors and make it seem like she was trying to testify outside of her expertise, and tried to bully her into talking about things that were outside of her expertise, which she just simply was like, I don't claim to know anything about that. I don't know anything about that. I know about dog bites. Now I can, if I see a gunshot wound, I can tell that it's a gunshot wound, and I don't need to look at the gun because I know what a fucking gunshot wound looks like, because I've worked in an ER most of my life as a doctor. So here I'm not sitting here saying that I'm an expert on gunshot wounds, but I know a gunshot wound when I see one because I worked in a fucking ER, dude. And I could tell the difference between a dog bite and a gunshot wound, a dog bite and road rash, because I've worked in an ER most of my fucking life. That means I've seen it all. This lady has probably seen the strangest things stuck up people's asses, for all we know. We have no idea. Just let your imagination for a moment, explore the possibilities of the things that this woman has seen working in an LA ER. I'll give you a second. I'll let you guys think about that for a second. Just ponder. Just ponder. Things up people's butts, more things up people's butts. Gunshot, stab wound, more things up people's butts. Overdoses with things up people's butts. I mean, dude, like, she's seen everything, fucking everything. So this dude was trying to trip her up the whole time and get her to act like she was an expert in other areas. And she was like, no, like, I wrote the book on dog bites, dude. That's it. That's why I'm here. That's it. And it goes to say, man, it goes to say, like, the fact is Judge Beverly Cannoni, Alessi reciting back Beverly Cannoni's words the last time she allowed her to testify in the first sham of a trial, this is just a fucking watered down, fucking faded version of the first sham. It's an even bigger sham. It's a more shammed sham, is all this trial is. And so it was just brilliant of Alessi to quote her words. We're on to the next page, actually. The determination of admissibility is within the court's discretion. Yes, we know that. Thank you. However, before the court may exercise its discretion to admit expert testimony, the party seeking to offer the testimony here, the defendant, must establish 5 foundational elements. Excuse me. 1, that the expert testimony will assist the trier of fact because the information is beyond the common knowledge of jurors. Okay.
Exactly. 2, that the witness is qualified as an expert in the relevant area of inquiry. Okay. 3, the expert's opinion is based on facts or data of a type reasonably relied on by experts to form opinions in the relevant field. See, I'm reading this and I'm just thinking at the same time. I'm just thinking about how I'm just thinking about how it took half the time of the half the day the first day she was there, to go over her experience and her qualifications. It's insane. 3, that the expert's opinion is based on facts of data type reasonably. Okay, I already read that. 4, that the theory underlying the opinion is reliable. And 5, that the theory is applied to the particular facts of the case in a reliable manner. Here, the recognition of dog bite wounds is not within the common knowledge of a layperson and requires expert testimony. And Dr. Russell is a qualified expert as to these topics. No shit. She is a board-certified emergency medical doctor with over 30 years of experience, is trained in forensic pathology, and has conducted over 500 autopsies. With respect to dog bites specifically, Dr. Russell has treated hundreds of wounds resulting from dog attacks during her time as an emergency room doctor and co-authored peer-reviewed articles on the treatment of law enforcement canine bites in the emergency room. Lastly, in forming her opinion in this case, Dr. Russell conducted a differential diagnosis based on the pattern of the victim's wounds and their characteristics, and supported her theory with references to peer-reviewed publications. Use of differential diagnosis, I don't know why I just had trouble with that word, diagnosis, is a standard scientific technique of Jesus Christ, I can't read today, identifying the cause of a medical problem. Accordingly, the court finds that Dr. Russell's testimony satisfies the 5 foundational elements and therefore will allow Dr. Russell to testify as to whether the abrasions of John O'Keefe's right arm were caused by a dog. In so ruling, the court recognizes that on cross-examination, the Commonwealth demonstrated, among other things, that Dr. Russell's expertise primarily concerns the treatment, not the identification of dog bites, that her evaluation of the abrasions failed to consider all available information, that she has not compared the abrasions with the dentition of the German Shepherd in question, and that her opinion is inconsistent with findings that there was no canine DNA in the area of the victim's clothing near the abrasions. Hold on. Wait a second. In so ruling, the court recognizes that the cross-examination, blah, 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 blah. All right. Dr. Russell's experts primarily concerns the treatment, not the identification of dog bites, that her evaluation of the abrasions failed to consider all available information, that she has not compared the abrasions with the dentition of the German Shepherd in question, and that her opinion is inconsistent with findings that there was no canine DNA in the area of the victim's clothing near the abrasions. See, this pisses me off right here. And I'll tell you why this pisses me off, because it probably pisses you guys off for the same reason. That pisses me off a lot right there, because she's saying she knows just as well as the rest of us do, by the way. She knows because she was fucking there in the courtroom when it happened every single day. She knows damn well that the shirt was never tested for canine DNA. I'm going to say that again. John O'Keefe's shirt was never tested for canine DNA. You know how I know that? Because John's shirt never entered the lab. A Q-tip that was put there by a cop who is now, right now, as we are sitting here and speaking today, right now, in the middle of the Massachusetts State Police equivalent to a court-martial. He is in a meeting with 3 of his superiors determining whether or not he gets to remain a Massachusetts state police officer, a Massachusetts state trooper. Judge Beverly Cannoni knows this. She knows that it was a swab. Now, fine. Okay. I get the whole, all right, no DNA, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. But knowing this makes me really cringe when I know that she felt the need to put that in this in this filing. There's no reason for her to point that out. It was really overkill and unnecessary. It was almost like she was trying to win points with the Commonwealth, which is really fucking weird. I mean, tell me it didn't come off that way at all. Like, what other reason would there be? What other justification would there be for her to make that point? That no, in this filing that has nothing to do with whether or not, and how, and why does it say, why does Judge Beverly Cannoni make it a point to say that she can't identify them as dog bites? That she's not there to identify them as dog bites, that she's only there to talk about the treatment of a dog bite. But the problem is that, I mean, sorry, when she sees a fucking dog bite, she knows it's a dog bite. You're going to tell me based on that semantic argument that Brennan had? Pure semantics, by the way. Pure fucking semantics, where he is sitting there talking about how that, well, you said that you would guess, you would say that these are dog bites at one point, and then later on you said that they were definitely dog bites, and then you changed your tune about the dog bites and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, listening to this asshole, and I can't believe that this is his argument.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat.
How dare
Trevor Maverick, thank you so much. Not only that there was testimony about how there were inhibitors found which can mask DNA. Good point. That too. Appreciate that. Thank you, Trevor. Appreciate it. What's up, Mazda Media? Good to see you, buddy. The whole thing just is really, really irritating in the sense that Judge Beverly Cannoni is supposed to know the law better than anybody there. Right? Like, why the whole... And how can she not? Somebody in the chat was saying, you in order to properly treat something, you have to be able to identify it. I mean, right. I don't understand why she's not qualified to identify a dog bite. What? What? That's crazy. And the whole DNA thing, I mean, sorry, but they tested a swab. They didn't test John's shirt. And John's shirt, the one that we saw laying on the floor in the hospital, we saw pictures of laying on the floor in the hospital. John's shirt, who Michael Proctor testified that was sitting in the trunk of his car for 3 weeks. Michael Proctor, who sent inappropriate messages saying that Karen Reed should kill herself. Michael Proctor, who sent text messages saying that Brian Albert has nothing to worry about because he's a Boston cop. That same Michael Proctor, the same Michael Proctor who, again, as we speak at this very moment, is being disciplined, is in a disciplinary meeting with 3 of his superiors to determine whether or not he remains on the Massachusetts State Police force based on his behavior in the Karen Reed case. So the same Michael Proctor, by the way, who those very close, that shirt that we're talking about was wet. So they laid it on a piece of paper for, I don't even remember how long they said. Okay. But, you know, Dr. Marie Russell gets to testify in the second trial that shouldn't be happening for obvious reasons, but also because the first trial should have never fucking happened. So, like, the thing is like, it doesn't matter how you cut it. Okay? Like, it just doesn't matter how you cut it. Everything that happens here following this new trial, everything that happens is bullshit. Why? Because the trial is bullshit. Because the charges are bullshit. The situation's bullshit. It's all a fugazi. Every fucking thing. Everything. You have a right. You have a right to shoot everything down that you hear taking place from Beverly Cannoni in this trial because we shouldn't fucking be here. Karen Reed shouldn't even be there. So when you think about it, literally everything that Judge Beverly Cannoni does is subject to us going, oh, fuck you, Bev. Like everything. Because we shouldn't even be here. There's not even any way to sugarcoat that. Sorry, there's somebody's dude, somebody reposted like a new recreation. Some dickhead named Phil Debunks Karen Kooks. So he made like a new, hold on. And he gets the music, dude. He gets the music. Hold on. Now we're getting down on this bitch. First of all, First of all, why is it a compact car? Like, why is it a compact car? Why does John O'Keefe look like Brian Tully? I have so many questions. Why does this look like it was done by a fifth grader in computer science class in 1991? Why is Tully O'Keefe on his knees? I have so many questions. Now, okay. He's not on his knees. He's actually embedded in the concrete in the road. I guess when they paved the street, John O'Keefe was standing there, and then they just ignored him and poured a bunch of concrete and paved the road with John O'Keefe standing there, and just filled up concrete up to his knees there, I mean, how do you defend yourself against a compact car that's an SUV, but a compact car? How do you do that when you're stuck on the ground at the knees? He doesn't have any feet. I mean, that would explain his shoes missing. That would explain his shoes missing. Because I guess they had to dig up the road, pull his shoes out. Like, this is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. This is actually dumber than Plevins. This is dumber than Plevins. And it's worse. Plevins even looked better. Like, but the thing is, we've gone over this 1,000 times. We know for so many reasons why John O'Keefe was not hit with Karen Reed's SUV. There's so many reasons why. And one of them is just simply that there's no way that John O'Keefe's elbow at that angle, at that speed, is going to shatter Karen Reed's taillight. Which is, I mean, there's no way. Like, I feel like John's elbow would shatter. John's elbow would at least suffer some sort of fracture. I believe that. I believe John's elbow would at least suffer some sort of fracture. At the very least, bruising. And there was no bruising. There was absolutely no bruising. And yeah, right around his elbow looks like a dog got right a hold of his elbow. And it makes no sense that the injuries would go all the way up his arm and down his forearm. That the scratches, there's no way that smashing the taillight would cause those injuries. There's just no scientific scenario that I can imagine where that would absolutely happen. Now, I'm not an expert, but the experts testified basically the same thing. and conducted experiments. One of them built a cannon, but they conducted experiments. Men with PhDs. And they testified. And they were hired by the FBI. And they were hired by the FBI, who was investigating the very DA prosecuting the case that they were testifying at. So, I mean, we can sit here. This is so annoying, dude. I'm going to come back to a subject that I wanted to come back to. I just wanted to go over Bev's thing here. And now, this is going to make some people mad, but wow, he's really loud, but I'm going to speed him up here.
This is prosecutorial madness, what I'm seeing in the Karen Reed case. They are not acting like normal prosecutors. And are they breaking any rules? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. But you really have to pull back from this and take a look at the big picture to fully understand how different all this is, and then try to understand why. That's what I'm interested in, is why are they acting the way they are acting? And there might be an answer to it. There might be a pretty simple answer to it. But what we're seeing right now in the Karen Reed case, I've only really seen in one other place, but that was more the actions of the judge than the prosecutor, although it kind of goes hand in hand in the Delphi case. And what you're seeing is prosecutors not acting the way they normally do in trying a case. Now, I've been covering cases across the nation, the highest profile cases for decades now at Court TV. That's all we do is cover high profile cases. So these are cases many times with strong defense teams, with defendants who may have money, they may have fame, they may have access to resources that the day-to-day defendant in our system doesn't have. And that's certainly the case here. But it doesn't change everyone's role. And I've spoken at length through the years about the role of the defense attorney and the role of the prosecutor and how they're different. And when I usually talk about it, I'm usually attacking the defense,
I could
sort
have
of in a passive aggressive way, but attacking the defense in what their role is in the court.
Dude, I sped him up.
What I'm seeing here is a little different, and I'm going to explain it all. It will make sense once I put all my thoughts together for you and lay them out. But the bottom line is this is not normal, what we're seeing.
Now, some of you might be wondering, Will, why do you keep laughing every fucking time Vinny says this is not normal behavior coming from a prosecution? It's just really funny to me to hear Mr. Court TV in fucking January, just like a couple of months before the next trial starts, say that this prosecution just isn't normal. Like, and I know he's going to make the same points that I made. And this is what's annoying about it to me. Now, I get a lot of people are like, man, lay off Vinny. He's got a huge following. He's got a lot of people behind him. It's a good thing because he's speaking for Karen Reed. And he's, and he's finally, it's good. And I'm, okay, that's all fine and dandy. I can appreciate all that. But at the same time, there's a part of me that's just like, fuck all that, dude. Fuck all that shit. Because, man, when I first fucking started following this case, I was really confused. A lot of the confusion that I got came from fucking Vinny here. because Vinny was so fucking on the fence, but it was clear that he understood what was going on. That's why this is annoying to me right now. Hearing him, that's why it's funny too, hearing him sit there and go, oh, this prosecution is just not normal. It's not acting normal. But he's been following this from the beginning. He's been covering it. It's not like it's his fucking second day, dude. He's been following this from the beginning. And now all of a sudden, the prosecution isn't normal. Now, Vinny, dude, forgive me. And I get it. I get that there's going to be some people that are like, oh, well, it's a good thing. And, you know, why are you fucking with a good thing? You know, Vinny Politan is finally, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, sorry. I have no excuse. I have no excuse. It's just in my fucking nature. It just is. It annoys the shit out of me when I'm not an attorney. Now, it's nice when attorneys validate the things that I say because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about most of the time. But it's nice when an attorney validates it. But it's irritating when an attorney validates it in this manner. A guy who has the following that Court TV has. I mean, I sat there and I've watched this guy for over a year ride a fence while knowing, because I'm a little stupid, but one thing I'm not stupid, one department I'm not stupid in is reading people. Like, I know people. And I know that this motherfucker knew exactly what was going on with Karen Reed. I know this dude believed Karen Reed to be innocent for fucking months and months and months. At least as long as I have. At least as long as I have. So when he's sitting here, you know, oh, and then I hear that excuse too, like, oh, but he's, you know, he's on a major TV network and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Dude, all of a sudden now, give me a fucking break. We're going to trash Court TV, who has Plevin on there. This guy has Plevin on there regularly. Like, that was it. That was the move that made everybody go, okay, man, like, you know, like, I don't hate Vinny. I don't hate Vinny. I actually like Vinny, to be honest. I bet he's a nice guy. But I'm not sitting here celebrating with everyone else because Vinny is all of a sudden going, oh, well, there's something wrong with this. It's not normal what this prosecution is doing. We know it's not normal, dude. We've known it's not normal. If I said that shit when I first started following this case, and you're a fucking liar, and I'm talking to anybody who tries to challenge it, because that's one of the benefits of going through this case live and sharing my thoughts and my reactions to everything that I am discovering on my own as I'm educating myself on this case. One of the benefits that happened is that you can go back and look. And one thing that I repeated over and over and over again was, this is so telling that the prosecution, and I'm not talking about Hank Brennan, I'm talking about fucking Lally. The prosecution is playing defense this entire time. It doesn't make sense. If they have a case, how did this even get past the grand jury? They don't seem to have a case, and they seem to have, their entire strategy seems to revolve around playing defense against the defense's defense. That in and of itself is extremely telling that Karen Reed is innocent. It's extremely telling. And anybody who says that I didn't say some variation of those words repeatedly 12 months ago, 13 months ago, 14 months ago, well, then you're a fucking liar. Or you have a really bad memory. And I used to get frustrated watching Vinny and him not pointing this out because it's the most obvious thing. Court TV, I would say. This is court TV. Out of all places, this is the place where I should be able to count on someone pointing this out. Why is it that the prosecution is playing defense if they're so sure Karen Reed did this? I remember reviewing Vinny's videos, Vinny's court TV segments, and pointing this out. And now all of a sudden that he's doing it, I'm supposed to celebrate. I'm supposed to be like, oh, good for Vinny. Fuck out of here. That shit's frustrating, dude. Now, it might just be my fucking ego. Okay. I mean, it might. But nevertheless, I am human, and it pisses me off. Because it's not this dude having the following that he does, and him not blatantly just being like, because it's not like you're taking a side here. It's not like that's the whole thing when people say, oh, well, there's the Karen Reed is innocent side, and then there's the Karen Reed is guilty side. I don't see that line, dude. I don't see that line. I see just Karen Reed is innocent, period. That's the truth. There's too much that tells me that she's innocent. And there's nothing that tells me that she's guilty. Nothing that tells me that Karen Reed is guilty. I've said it before. I'm going to say it a lot more times. At this point, knowing what we know about this case, what has been made public, unless you're just now educating yourself on the case, but if you've been following this case and you think that Karen Reed is guilty, you are a fucking retard. There's no sugarcoating that. There's too much evidence to indicate that she's innocent at this point. And there's nothing going into a second trial. There's nothing saying that she's guilty. You have Hank Brennan doing absolutely nothing but putting on a show, filing insane motions that the actions in those motions tell us that they don't have a case. And the fact that Judge Beverly Cannoni is allowing this sham to go on is extremely telling as well. This is the kind of shit. Anybody not calling this shit out, I'm going to criticize. This is the biggest fucking story. This is the most insane shit I've ever seen. This is the biggest fucking story as far as, I mean, I feel like I'm not a lawyer, but I feel like they're going to fucking talk about this case in law school courses. Because there's nothing but, I mean, this entire procedure, this entire process is a violation of Karen Reed's rights. And it is a violation to the memory of John O'Keefe. It's a violation to his family. Getting peace. And it's not less than that. And just because mainstream media is not saying these things, they're not true. Is anything that I'm saying now not fucking true? I'll challenge anybody. So no, I'm not going to sit here and celebrate when somebody is doing any less with the kind of following that he has on his own channel, doing any less than calling this shit out for what it is, especially somebody who understands how the law works. And you can still do it and sound professional. Dude, I'm a different person. If I'm in the same tweet as Mark Betterow, I act different. I fucking act different, dude. I clean my shit up. I try to. Like, I get embarrassed about my original shit, and then I'll be like, oh, fuck, you know? Because Mark Betterow calls this shit out, but he does it in a very, very professional manner. Constantly. Is it too much to ask Court TV to do the same thing? Is it too much to ask of Court TV? I don't think it is. And that's fine, man. If you want to be like, okay, I'm not criticizing any of you for feeling like this is a win, that Vinny is finally, you know, put one leg over the other side of the fence. That's fine. I'm saying don't shit on me because I have a personal standard at this point. That's all I'm saying. Don't shit on me because I feel like this guy has a responsibility that he's not meeting, that he's not meeting.
Vinny Politan, you're watching Vinny Live.
Get ready, get set, let's go. It's true crime, streaming live, worldwide. It's Vinny Live.
Yeah, it's hard not to like him. You know what I mean?
It's true crime, streaming live.
That's a cool little cheesy little intro song, man. I dig it.
Worldwide, it's Vinny Live. Get ready. So post inside the chat. Get ready for the prosecutor hot. Get set.
And it's really funny too. It's funny because this is sped up. Like I don't know what it really actually sounds like. I don't want to.
To like and to subscribe, let's go. It's time for Vinny Live.
Good morning. It's Wednesday already. Get back to work week is going fast.
And this is a week old.
Great to have you aboard. I'm Vinny Politan. If you don't know me, lead anchor for Court TV, your front row seat to justice, the network
Turn
of
that
cameras
shit
inside
off.
the courtrooms, so you can watch it and everybody else can take our feed and stream it. That's how it works. But thank you so much for joining me today. Okay, so what am I talking about here? Let me lay this out piece.
Just to be clear, I very, very rarely have ever streamed Court TV. 9 out of 10 times, I will stream straight from like Boston 10 or Boston 25.
By piece, and then I'm going to get to a lot of comments today. I want to see what you have to say about all this. All right, so let me begin with the big picture. Prosecutor versus defense attorney, okay? Prosecutor is there for the truth, and the truth equals justice, right? You let the facts are what they are, the evidence is what it is, you present it, and you believe that it proves that the defendant did it, okay? First of all, you have to have a good faith belief.
See, that's what makes me mad. Like, it fucking makes me mad when he says this shit. And it's like, all right, then why aren't you calling these things out?
Yourself. And the evidence has to be there. You can't bring a case that you don't believe can prove it, and you don't bring a case certainly against someone you believe did not commit the offense that you're charging with. That's number one. And it's very rare that a prosecutor would ever violate that. But in addition to that, your obligation is to the truth and the truth only. Okay, your role is not to win the case. It's not, all right, one side is here, one side there. Your job is to win. Whatever it takes, you got to win. No.
My man, I know you read the motion to disqualify Morrissey, dude, filed months and months ago by Alan Jackson. I know you read that shit. Stop.
You want the evidence and the facts to be put in front of the jury, and then you believe that once those facts and evidence is put in front of the jury, that it clearly proves that the defendant did it, and you've proven it beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay? That's your job. And the truth. It's all about the truth, because that's how you equal justice. I mean, someone gets indicted because they did it, right? That's your job as a prosecutor. At least you believe they did it. Now, a defense attorney, on the other hand, completely different. No obligation to the truth whatsoever. And that's the only way our system works. Their obligation is to their client, is to do whatever's in the best interest of the client. They don't have to lay out all the evidence. As a matter of fact, they have no obligation to put in any evidence at all. They can remain completely silent and do nothing. The burden is on the other side to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. Their job is to protect the rights of the accused. So it's not equal. So when you hear the arguments inside the courtroom, I say this all the time, a prosecutor ethically, if they're acting ethically, should only be arguing about the truth, should not be trying to brush over some things and try to take some.
That's another point right there. Just the fact that they have Plevin on there, that's telling too. Like, Nurse Kim is making a point here. She's saying, little birdie told me that Vinny was made aware of the red Plevin stream where he told someone to unalive themselves and called me and another woman every name in the book. Now, right. And like, I saw that was clipped to hell, dude. I saw that thing. I was like, wow, Plevin, really? And so it's just really funny to me, dude, because like normally Court TV or News Nation, they won't touch channels that engage in that kind of shit. They won't. They see it as drama, and they're like, this is what separates us from them. This is what separates us from the YouTubers. Is they do that shit. We're the news. We don't do that shit. Right? So they separate themselves from it. But the fact that they have Plevin on there regularly, it tells me that they're going against what they normally would go against. And that tells me something else. It tells me that it's because they don't have anyone else. It's because there's nobody worth a shit at this point willing to go on Court TV and say that Karen Read is guilty. Nobody that can sound even remotely intelligent. I'll give it to Plevin. He can sound like he's intelligent. He knows how to sell himself on being intelligent. He just fails on delivery every time. But he knows how to sell himself on being intelligent. But they don't have anybody. That's all they can get is the guy who can sell himself on being intelligent, but never follows through. That's what Court TV can get for people who are trying to convince the public that Karen Read is guilty. That should tell you everything. It should tell you this one simple fact, that at this point, knowing everything that we know about the Karen Read case, if you think that Karen Read is guilty, you are fucking retarded. You have to be. You have to be. So it's insane to see mainstream media talk about this case without talking about the things that are making this case the most insane thing that we've ever witnessed. Watching them deliberately avoid these issues is mind-blowing.
Something and turn it and twist it to win the case. No, your job is to just lay out the facts as they are, make the argument, and tell the jury how the facts, when applied to the law, equal guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. It's really that simple. Defense attorney, it's much different, first of all. Like, they have no obligation, number one. Number two, their job is to protect the rights, to make sure that their client does not get convicted if the prosecution has not provided the evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. So it's a layer of protection. And sometimes people who have committed the offense are found not guilty. Our system is set up that way to set guilty people free before one innocent person gets convicted. And that's why the roles are so different. And that's why defense attorneys are given more leeway and have no ethical obligation to the truth. Whereas that.
See what I mean? You see what I mean? You see why I'm not sitting here fucking going, yeah. Because like we all already fucking know that, dude. Like, come on, court TV guy, you got to do better than that. You got to do better than that. We already know that shit. We've been saying that shit. My dumb ass has been saying that shit. Like, this is why people are frustrated. Like, now you're saying this stuff. Like, what?
That is the ethical obligation of the prosecution. Okay, so now you lay that out, and it makes sense. It's the way the system works. It's the way that people can be prosecuted.
It's annoying that it's like, oh well, all of a sudden it's Hank Brennan doing it. Like, dude, like it's just so fucking weird. Like, dude, no, Lally was doing it too, dude. Lally was doing it, and Judge Bev was doing it. Judge Bev is still doing it. Dude, just wait. Everybody's fucking like, oh, she's going to let Dr. Russell testify. Yay, Bev. Get the fuck out of my face with that. Because, of course, she's going to let. How could she not let her testify? How could she not let her testify? The fact that it was even in question is insane on her part. Totally insane that she even allowed this sham to happen within the sham of flying her out there and putting her through a fucking Grand Inquisition. So stupid. Like, why? For what? So, like, I mean, it makes no sense, dude. Like, everything in this case is a sham. And I'm just not, you're anybody who's afraid to call it out at this point, like, I have zero respect for as far as them covering the case. Seriously, like it's gotten to that point. Because I mean, it's too obvious. I understand. I do understand being a impartial YouTube creator who covers true crime, and you have a law degree, or you're an ex-cop, or whatever the reasons, you know, when you want to maintain that level of professionalism and not seem biased. And I get all that. It's not that I don't understand that. What I'm saying is, and I understood it happening even when I was already convinced that Karen Reed was innocent. I understood it happening. I'm saying now it is totally, you look and sound stupid now if you are riding the fence on this. You look and sound stupid now. Going, we'll just have to wait till trial. What? We'll just have to see what happens and how it plays out. Get the fuck out of my face with that. Seriously, dude. We're just gonna have to see what happens here. That is you basically in a nutshell saying out loud to me that you're dismissing everything that you've heard in the last year. That's basically what you sound like to me when you go, oh, what? Jeez, we're just gonna have to see what happens. It's fucking asinine. It's asinine. If you're saying anything other than there is no fucking way that Karen Reed will ever be convicted. And the reason for that is she shouldn't even be sitting on trial the second time in the first place. She shouldn't be.
But we don't give complete and total power to prosecutors, right? They have the burden, they're going to prove it, and we give a little bit of an advantage to the defense in the ethical obligations of a defense attorney. Sometimes they don't like it when I point this out, that they don't have an obligation to the truth, but they don't. And if they did, then the system couldn't work, because if they knew that their client did it, they're going to agree with the prosecution? How is that a system of justice? That doesn't.
Now, I think it was him that he was saying, and I really agree with him on this, is like the defense attorneys, man, even though like they're real easy to shit on, you know, because they lie, you know what I mean? Like it's their job, you know, but they are so necessary in the justice system. In a fair and impartial justice system, you need defense attorneys. You need them. Like they're heroes. I remember I said something about defense attorneys I've on Twitter months and months and months ago. And I think it was Bob Mata that like chimed in and was like, well, wait a second, dude. Hold on. Don't be so quick to shit all over defense attorneys, bro. And it was, I was like, yeah, fair enough. You're right. You're right.
Doesn't work. So that's why it's different. So why do I lay all this out? Because I've been saying this for years and years and years. So what's happening here? What is the madness that I'm talking about? Well, the first step of the madness is you have an office. The Norfolk County DA's office has 130 employees. They're not all lawyers. Some are investigators, some are support staff, etc. I get it. But it's a big office. It's 130 employees. Yet they don't have one person in there that they believe can prosecute this case. So they have to go out and spend, I think it's $75,000 to bring in an outsider. And that's why I think things have gotten a little bit crazy here. Okay. And that's because they've hired someone who's a good attorney, really good attorney, but he's really a defense attorney. And the way he is trying this case right now is like a defense attorney, but he's a prosecutor and he's trying it like a defense attorney. What do I mean by this? What do I mean? What do defense attorneys do before trial? We have all this pretrial litigation. Everything they do is they file motions to get evidence excluded, right? They try to get evidence suppressed or excluded. They want to keep stuff from the jury because it makes their client look guilty, right? But that's what defense attorneys are supposed to do. That's what defense attorneys have to do to keep the system honest. But now we're in bizarro world where the prosecution is filing motion after motion after motion to exclude evidence and witnesses who testified in the first trial. Like that's what defense attorneys do. I get it. He is a defense attorney. But right now, he's a $75,000 prosecutor working on one case.
Bro, did this guy just like watch one of my streams and memorize it? How fucking annoying that shit is. Hate Corruption, thank you so much for gifting one membership. I appreciate it. Congrats to Be Blunt. Fantastic. Hold on. Where's my shit? Here we go. Dang. Dude, you hear this, dude? I'm telling you, no, man. I mean, like, because it's annoying. Because the thing is, I like Vinny. I've always liked Vinny. But don't try to sell me on this is a good thing. Okay? Get out of my fucking face with that shit.
And his approach to all of this is like a defense attorney. I'm going to win this case, and I'm going to win it by keeping evidence from getting in front of the jury.
Dude.
He's allowed to file these motions, right? He may or may not win. I don't know. But just think about the mentality. Because when I think of our system of justice, and I think about being a prosecutor, which I was, and defense attorneys, it's always about the bigger picture of what your job, what your role is, how it's supposed to work, so the system works. And the system is broken. I pointed this out on another video at some point. I don't know. I've said it on the air as well. Right now, in cities across this country, we have people who've been elected as local prosecutors and DAs in offices who ran not to prosecute people, but to reform justice and set people free and not prosecute criminals. And it's destroyed cities. It's destroyed cities. It's made things more dangerous. It has upset the system because they're not concerned about the truth. They're not concerned about taking the facts and applying to the law. They are concerned about how many criminals can I set free? And they have disrupted the system, and not in a good way. And I believe here, the same thing is happening, but in a different way, where the system and the roles are being disrupted and throwing things out of whack. Like a prosecutor who doesn't want the jury to see or hear things.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Fuck. Yes. That's exactly what's going on here. The prosecutor is throwing smoke and mirrors, and he's using the fact that he's a defense attorney as a prosecutor. He's using that very tactic as the smoke and mirrors. He's using that as a fucking strategy. He's using that as a point of confusion. Because you're expecting him to prove a case. But since you're expecting him to prove a case, but he's not doing it, and he's deflecting everything that the defense is doing, trying to block everything the defense is doing, well, then that confuses the jury. It confuses the judge. This dude is killing me right now.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad.
How dare you? Nurse Skip, thank you so much. Get it well. Preach common sense. That's what I'm saying. It's just common sense. It's common sense. That's why it's so frustrating. It's because it's common sense. And it's like you're just ignoring common sense. And now you're saying these things as though it's like, dude, Lally was doing the same thing, dude. Lally was doing the same fucking thing that Brennan's doing. What are you talking about?
Things. Like, if you've indicted someone who committed the offense that you've charged them with, put your evidence in. Let them put their evidence in. Your evidence should be enough to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, because that's your job and that's your belief. It's almost to the point that you almost shouldn't care what they put in. Oh, they're going to bring in this expert to say this? Well, I'll get the expert who will say the truth, and you have a battle of the experts. Like,
I don't even know why I'm doing this.
You know, I haven't covered a lot of cases in Massachusetts recently.
I don't even know why I'm doing this myself.
I don't know how things have changed. But why do we have prosecutors trying to keep evidence from being heard by the jury? To me, that just makes me skeptical. Skeptical as a former prosecutor, skeptical as a legal journalist. Like, what are you doing? It's the same feeling I had in the Delphi case, which is very different.
No, Nurse Kim, stop. And if I came off like in any way, like it's more of like it was coming from a place of like, why is she giving me money? Like, why? It's Nurse Kim. Like, don't give me money. Don't do that.
In this case, very different. And again, this doesn't go to the ultimate truth of the case. This goes to how our system figures out the truth, which is important because it affects everyone and every case. If we start changing the system, like in Delphi, the judge tried to prevent the defendant from having the counsel of his choice, who had volunteered their time to try the case. It wasn't like they were asking for state money.
Yeah, I need to. People have been telling me forever, like to look at what happened with the Delphi case, because every time I bring that up, by the way, it's really funny. Every time I go, I've never seen someone's right to a defense being violated so much, and somebody always goes, "Well, you need to fucking look at the Delphi case," and I'm just like, "Oh shit, okay," but I haven't. But people keep bringing it up. People keep talking about the Delphi case. And some of the stuff that I've heard, I'm just like, holy shit, what?
he wants us to represent him. We want to represent him, and you're not allowing us, Judge. Like that was insane. And if that becomes like a precedent that a judge can decide who gets to represent the defendant, like, no, that's up to the defendant.
I've donated to Vinny too, dude. I have. I've been in Vinny's chats and I've super chatted him. And you know, and you know, I got what I expected. You know what I mean? Like I would take advantage and I'd super chat and be like, dude, what about this shit? Why aren't you talking about it? You know what I mean? But I wouldn't say like, why aren't you talking about it? I would just like, because I don't want to scare him off either. You know, I want him to like address it. Whatever I'm, you know, I want to get him to say something in regards to what I'm, you know. And he's like, I can't even remember what I asked him. It was something really. Oh, I remember it was the Sebastian Rogers thing. He was talking about Sebastian Rogers. And then I was talking about, because he was kind of leaning towards one of the, he wasn't outright saying it, but he was fucking around a little bit with the whole idea of one of the parents being involved. He was just kind of like, he wasn't even, I wouldn't even say he was hinting towards it, but he was hinting towards the hint, you know, and it was just like gross. And then, and I was just, you know, and I think I asked him a question in regards something to the effect of, don't you think that that's irresponsible because those parents, you know, there's no evidence against them. So, you know, they're going through like the worst shit in the world. I can't remember how I worded it. I had to squeeze it into a super chat. I can't remember what it was. And then he just danced around it. He was just like, you know, yeah, Claire, I see what you're talking about, but oh man, that's a tough one. You know, sometimes it's necessary, and then he starts justifying. And I was just like, man, you know, because you're never going to justify that shit to me. You're never going to justify that shit to me. You're never going to justify fucking painting a picture that a parent is responsible for their child missing when we don't even know that a crime took place. We don't even know if there's foul play. You're never, ever, ever going to justify that shit to me. Ever. Like, it doesn't matter what the case is. Like, if the child is missing and there's no evidence of foul play, you are never, ever, ever going to justify to me shitting all over the parents and making them out to be like they committed a crime and they did something to their missing child. You will not ever, ever justify that to me. I will call you out on it and call you a piece of shit for doing it. Every single fucking creator that's done it, from the fucking channels that have fucking maybe 5 people in their chats to fucking the channels that have thousands. Every single one of them that have done that in regards to the Sebastian Rogers case, in regards to the Summer Wells case, are pieces of shit in my eyes. Plain and simple. That's why I haven't even touched the Sebastian Rogers case. I haven't even fucking touched it. Because I'm going to do nothing but skate uphill. Because the whole world is blaming either that parent or that parent. And there's absolutely no evidence of foul play. So it was just really like when I see people going, oh, well, I'm reading the room and I'm seeing people in chat going, oh, well, this person did it. Blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm going to go, okay, well, I'm going to play around with that and hint that one of the parents might be responsible because it's going to fucking rain in fucking money. What's up, Microdots? Good to see you, buddy. And people have been asking for a new Microdots. Microdots is working on it. Y'all just be patient. Let the man do his thing. It's coming. It's coming.
That's like in the Constitution. So that's why this is upsetting to me, because it's bigger and goes beyond this case and this defendant. It's like Do we want prosecutors now to be of the mindset that our job is to win? And if the defense has a defense or has evidence they want to present, that we need to make sure the jury doesn't see it, the jury doesn't hear it? Does that sound like our system? It's a little strange. It's a little strange to me. It's a little foreign to me and to my mindset as my mindset always was, listen, I've got someone here who's been indicted. I've got my evidence here. All my evidence proves it. What are they going to put in there? All right, let them put in their evidence. My job as a prosecutor is cross-examination and make the argument to the jury as to why that evidence is ridiculous or makes no
It's like Vinnie Politan's playing me in a fucking movie, dude. You know how annoying that shit is?
sense. So in this case, it's not just the dog bite expert from yesterday. It's Richard Green, their digital forensic expert, talking about the alleged Google searches, and now it's the accident reconstructionists. All of it. Like they don't want the guys who did the investigation for the feds, for the FBI, who the defense called in the first trial. They don't want them to be permitted to testify. They don't want Richard Green, the one whose expert opinion was that.
See, you know how I know Vinny's full of shit? Because he's avoiding he's avoiding the fact that those men were hired by those ARCA experts were hired by the FBI. He's avoiding that fact. Why isn't he pointing that out? Why isn't Vinny saying that is an interesting fact that those guys, that there's, I mean, it was talked about. It was talked about in open court. It was talked about in pretrial. 3,100 page TUI report. A 3,100 page TUI report. Before the first trial even started. Why isn't he talking about that? Why is he? Because you know that he's actively avoiding that fact. There's no reason to not point that out, because that is a hell of a fact in this case. That is a major, major fact that those guys were hired by the FBI, and that Judge Bev would not allow that to be told to the in front of the jury, to be talked about in front of the jury. Want to know how I know Vinny's full of shit? Because the whole point of this video that Vinny's making right here, the whole point of it is pointing out how weird it is. How weird the approach to this case is. And you're not going to point that out? That those guys were hired by the FBI because they were investigating Michael Morrissey, the DA? I mean, that's huge. That a guy like him, people are going to log on to Vinny Politan and go, I want to know what Vinny has to say. What case is Vinny talking about? They might not know jack shit about the Karen Reed case, and they'll be like, wonder what Vinny Politan's talking about right now. Oh shit. And if he were to drop that bomb on his own channel and say, these guys who were hired by the FBI because they were investigating Michael Morrissey. And as far as we know, that investigation is still open. Now, Josh Levy's been replaced because he was sworn in. He was handpicked by Biden. But as far as we know, the case is still open. I mean, these things matter. These things are very, very relevant facts in this case, and yet he's actively avoiding them. And I'm supposed to celebrate that he's going, something weird's going on here. Fuck out of my face with that. Sorry, I'm just not. I cannot join you in your celebration.
The Google search, how's long to die in the cold, was at 2:27 in the morning. They don't want him to testify. And as you saw in court, they don't want the dog bite expert, the doctor, the ER doctor for 30 years who's seen 500 bites, to give her opinion on what she saw. Now, you don't have to believe any of their opinions. Their opinions can be wrong. I've covered a lot of trials at Court TV. There have been a lot of experts who have given opinions that have not been believed by the jury. And we have battle of the experts. Well, if this expert is so wrong, put your expert on who can tell the jury why that expert is ridiculous and makes no sense. That's the way it works. That's the way you should want it to work. Like if the other side has a case or has evidence, put it up there. I'm not worried about your evidence. I'm worried about the truth. And I'm putting my evidence out there that is the truth. And if yours isn't, I should be able to demonstrate to the jury that it's not the truth.
I mean, if he does mention the FBI, then great. I just didn't hear it. I'm not hearing it.
Like that's normal. That's what happens in normal.
I mean, why isn't he harping on it? is my point. Why isn't he harping on it?
Trials. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trials that we've covered on Court TV for decades. These two cases, Delphi and now Karen Reed, really have me like, what's going on? Delphi, it was like the judge was seemingly doing stuff on her own, which was bizarro. This one, you brought in an aggressive attorney, but he's a defense attorney, and he's prosecuting this case like a defense attorney. And there's a different role that you have, and a different mindset. And I'm sure he was a prosecutor. He knows all this, but he also knows as a defense attorney the things that you do and the way you approach a case. And I am not comfortable with it as a former prosecutor. And I've been attacked for years. Oh, you're a prosecutor, you always take their side. It's all everyone's guilty. This isn't even about guilty, not guilty. This is about how it has to work in order for the jury to figure it out. Like I would get upset a lot of times when the defense would get evidence suppressed.
You know goddamn well, Vinny. You know goddamn well that Karen Reed should have been acquitted the first time. That it should have never even went to trial in the first place. You know this just as well as everybody else. This is why it's frustrating. You know this just as well as everybody else. Yeah, I'm not buying your bullshit. You know this. You know for a fact that they had no case. This case should have been thrown out.
Pressed. And I'm like, let the jury see it. Let the jury hear it. Let the jury weigh it. Make your arguments, but don't hide stuff from the jury. The jury's trying to figure out what happened. The more information they have, the better. Always. And I'm usually making this argument,
right?
And the roles are reversed. Like the defense is trying to keep all this stuff from being in front of the jury. And I've attacked the defense for that. And I understand they're doing their job, but I'm like, I think in our system, the rules of evidence oftentimes put the jury in a place where they're not getting a clear picture of what happened. And 99 times out of 100, or maybe 999 times out of 1,000, it's because of what the defense is attempting to have suppressed. And yeah, we have a constitution, we have constitutional protections. And if the evidence was obtained illegally, it has to be suppressed. It has to be suppressed. But there are other times where there's other pieces of evidence where you're weighing probative versus prejudicial value. And those arguments are judgment calls, literally judgment calls by a judge based upon the arguments of counsel. And in those cases, I think you should lean more towards letting the jury see and hear more of the evidence.
And I've heard that excuse too. And in theory, it's a valid one, right? The excuse that, well, he works for Court TV, so he can't really, you know what I mean? Like, but again, he still has a responsibility. Are these not facts of the case? If these weren't actually facts of the case, I would understand. I would defend Vinny, and I would defend Court TV. I'd be like, okay, well, that's just a rumor. But I mean, if you're going to sit there and you're going to ignore facts of one case, and I'm going to hear you entertain rumors of another case, like stuff about the Wells family. I'm not saying Vinny's done this himself. I'm saying that he's had people up there. I'm saying that Court TV has. And I understand people having opinions about the Wells. I understand people having opinions about them. But what I'm saying is you don't get to play off of those rumors for the sake of views and ratings, because it is a TV show, and then ignore facts of a case. Because what I'm talking about are facts involving this case. And if you're ignoring that, well, then you're not doing your job. I know he's saying it's prosecutorial madness. What I'm saying is it's been prosecutorial madness since I started following this case. You're allowed, Peaches. No, listen, I want to be very clear. You're allowed to think that the Wells did something to Summer. You're allowed to. What you shouldn't be doing is blasting it all over the place and making them out to be guilty of a crime publicly, convincing the world, or calling their jobs, or calling CPS, or, you know, just because you don't like the way that they live, because there's no evidence that connects them to Summer's disappearance. There's absolutely none. Not even circumstantial. There's none. There's people who live a certain way that most of us don't approve of. Okay? But that's not evidence of a crime. But you're allowed to think whatever you want to fucking think, you know? But it's irresponsible for YouTubers and TV shows to capitalize off of that. So, you know, and I see people are, well, he's saying that it's prosecutorial madness. I know he's saying that. What I'm saying is it's been that. It's been prosecutorial madness. This whole case is prosecutorial madness since the investigation. And this guy's been acting like it's like every other case until now. Now it's weird that Hank Brennan is doing what he's doing. Now it's weird. That's what I'm calling out here.
So they can weigh the evidence themselves, figure it out, 12 people discuss it, and come to a consensus on what happened and what it means. But once you start preventing them from seeing and hearing the evidence, they're not getting the whole picture. And I think we're doing a misservice to our jury. Let them see more, not less. So why is the prosecution?
You're doing a misservice to Karen Reed. She has rights. It's a misservice to Karen Reed. The jury's going to go home and they're going to live their lives. They'll be okay. Technically, is it a misservice to the jury? Of course it is, sure. But the issue that we should be concerned with is Karen Reed and her rights.
Prosecution doing this? I think they're doing this because, and think about this is not like outrageous evidence that there's no way the defense should be allowed to have this. This is all evidence that was part of the first trial. Do you understand that? Like, this judge permitted this evidence in the first trial and suddenly would not permit it in the second trial. That's strange. You know, if the defense was attempting to do this, I'd be shocked. Not in any case. In any case, if the defense in a retrial was trying to get stuff suppressed that was allowed in the first trial, I'd be like, come on, guys, give me a break. You know it's admissible, right? But now it's the other way around. It's got my head spinning because I'm not used to this. This
it's
is
not the other way. It's the same shit.
Usually goes. This is not the usual pre-trial battle.
Did you watch the first trial? It's the same thing.
Battles that you have inside a courtroom. It's weird. It's really weird, and it has me question. I don't think, though. I mean, what the prosecution is asking is the judge to overrule herself in a sense.
That's
if you
my
allowed this in
point,
the first trial,
Reggie.
but you were wrong,
Like,
judge, you can't allow.
That's my point, Mike Rodotz, is this dude is absolutely like pointing out what we've been pointing out forever. And now all of a sudden it's weird. He's saying now all of a sudden it's weird. Now that what his big implication that he's dropping here is that now that Hank Brennan is involved, it's weird how it's being prosecuted. No, dude. Lally was doing the same thing. Lally was doing the same thing. He just sucked at it. He just wasn't as good at it.
Out in the second trial, and here's why. Because it was all permitted in the first trial. And put the evidence up there. If you've got new evidence, great. And I think prosecutors are developing some new evidence. They've got some new experts. They've done some testing. They've got some information. If that's going to be different in the second case, great. That's the way it's supposed to be. But to make the second case different by excluding things that were in the first one doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me. We'll see how it all turns out. This may be all about nothing. Maybe the judge will just allow everything. But personally, I'm not comfortable with it. I'm not comfortable with it. Because of, as I said off the top, the different role between a prosecutor and defense attorney. Prosecutor, I always want more information in front of the jury, not less, more information. The one place where the battle usually is fought, and it's not any part of this case, but the one time where prosecutors try to limit information is when it comes to when the defense is attacking the victim who can't speak for him or herself, right? Is attacking their character or anything like that, right? And those are times where, all right, prosecutors got to step up and protect the victim to a certain extent. We can't turn this into a trial of the victim, depending on the circumstance of the case. But that's the limited time when you usually see this level of aggressiveness from a prosecution in limiting what a jury gets to see and hear. Like their expert for the computer is basically saying that it's not even up for debate. Like this is so crystal clear. And I'm like, okay, if it's so crystal clear, then go into the courtroom and say that to the jury. The fact that your expert is better, or your expert is so convinced, or your expert works for the company and understands everything.
They almost got me with the I was looking at Twitter and they almost got me with Plevin's parody account. They almost got me. I was looking to see if there was any updates on Michael Proctor, but I'm not seeing any. But I'm going to go ahead and open the phone lines. Because we haven't had a call-in show in a while, man. So if anybody wants to call in. But I think I made my point about Vinny and Court TV. I mean, at this point, like it's to not point out exactly how completely insane it all is. Right, exactly, Microdot. Sean updated us 2 months ago. Thank you.
Call from Dina.
Was there any doubt, kid? Was there any doubt? I was going to be the first throw.
Oh, this is not that Dina, though.
You know what? Fuck that. I'm this Dina.
No.
I might not be that Dina, but I'm definitely this Dina.
Fair enough, but that Dina is not that Dina.
I got
win.
confused.
I win.
You win by default, just because I can't, like, I'm looking at the stupid chat and it's screwing me up. I'm a Dina, too. I was probably a Dina before she was a Dina.
But you're not that Dina.
No, I'm not that Dina.
Exactly.
And that's why, you know what? I had total respect for that, Dina. That's why I took this name.
You gave yourself the name. Nobody else called you that. You did. You're stuck with it. That's it.
That's because we sound just a little too much alike. Just a little too much, that I didn't want to, I don't know, steal her thunder or have somebody think I was her when I wasn't her.
I mean, I was able to differentiate usually. Like I could tell. I could tell it was you. What's up?
That's nothing. I'm making soup. It's freezing here. And I just wanted to see if I could be the first through.
Well, you are. You're the first through. Excellent.
So other than that, you haven't been on for a while.
Yeah, I guess not.
I hope you enjoyed your downtime enough to get back up.
I mean, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So other
didn't
than
do
that,
anything special or anything. Yeah.
no, but sometimes that's kind of special, not doing anything special.
That's true.
Every day doesn't have to be full of shit that you have to do. Unlike my days. But I wanted to talk to you because, when I was on with Jen Altman and you last week,
mm-hmm.
I got some blowback on that. And I usually don't have a problem with that because,
And Altman.
Is that who it was?
No,
No,
you're talking
Lacey.
about Lacey. Yeah, Lacey J.
Lacey. Sorry, I don't know. I was just reading something on Jen Altman's that came to my head.
Oh, you had some strong opinions and you expressed them. I mean, you're gonna get criticism on them when you have strong opinions. It's gonna happen.
I don't have a problem with somebody having a problem with me having an opinion. I don't have a problem with them having a problem with the opinion. What I do have a problem with is the next morning, I was listening to Coffee Time with, Tom and Mike, and Esty was on, who also has a very strong opinion about my opinion. And what they were like is, I don't know why she had such a strong opinion. She's not even from Canton. I didn't know that was the new rule. I guess everybody in Australia should calm the fuck down.
I don't think that's what she meant. I don't think that's what anybody would mean when they mean. I think what they mean is when it comes to people who have to live in Canton, you're just gonna have. I mean, their opinion
I ain't
is
gonna
going
have to nothing.
Well, no,
That's
you
what
don't
I'm
have
gonna
to.
have
Nobody's saying you have to do shit. What they're saying is when somebody, okay, buddy, I love you too, buddy, but you gotta go lay down. What they're saying is when it comes to the people who actually have to live there, they're always going to have that empathy for them by default. Whatever they're going to do is they're going to be supportive of it to some degree. I get that. I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, the people who live in Canton, they got to live in that shit. You know what I mean? And if they gotta, I'm not gonna.
If they gotta what?
And I'm just not telling anybody who they could be cool with and who they can't be cool with, and I mean.
And I'm just gonna say that this. I have had
but
people
your opinions as well.
I think this is a little beyond having an opinion or just trying to make peace, and so you can coexist in a place. This fucking bitch. Wish somebody would kill themselves.
All right.
I mean, I just think that hits a whole different level.
Most people don't know. Hold on. Hit pause for a second. Most people don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So let me bring these people up to speed. So you're saying what you brought up on Lacey Jane's Twitter on her Twitter feed or live thing that she did that I was on. You were saying that you had an issue with the locals in Canton, the boots on the ground people in Canton who have made peace apparently with who is it? Not Elizabeth Proctor, the other Proctor. What's her name? Courtney Proctor.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have issue. You take issue with that, and then some people criticized you for that because they feel like, well, I mean, they live there, so they should be able to fucking interact with whoever the fuck they want and be cool with and live in peace with whoever they want.
I feel like this is a particular thing that hits a whole different level. They should be able to, if that's what they want to do, but understand that's what you're doing. Understand that you're making peace or coexisting and being blasé about their existence in your grocery store, you're this, you're that, knowing full well that they wish death to Karen. They wish she would kill herself. Okay? And I've had 2 different members of my family kill themselves.
No, I mean, I get why you're passionate and I get why you're upset and I get your opinion on it. It's not an invalid opinion. What I'm saying is, it's one of those things. I mean, I guess what my question is what do you propose? I mean, are we supposed are we supposed to have a poor opinion of the people of Canton for wanting to live peacefully among the Proctors, or
no? I want them to think beyond the tip of their nose. The morality involved in wishing someone dead,
that's
wishing someone harm, is beyond them just saying something nasty.
But
it's not just a nasty thing.
The argument is, well, it's easy for someone to say who doesn't live there. You know what I mean? It's easy for someone to say, oh, well, they should just be able to look past their nose and blah, blah, blah. It's easy to say that if you don't live there. That's the argument. So, like, I mean, what would you say?
I think it's a crappy argument. It's a matter of morals. It's way past where you live. You put one of them people in front of me, you see how that works. All right. I wouldn't have a problem in the world. All right.
But not everybody's built like that, though, you know?
Well, maybe they should.
I get it. I get what you're saying, because you're like, I couldn't. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and want to like break bread and hang out with the Proctors. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't. I get it. What I'm saying though is like, but I don't have to fucking live there, dude. I don't have to fucking hang out with these people. You know what I mean? I don't have to fucking worry about running into them at the store. You know? So it's like, I mean, what do you expect them to do?
They should feel every inch. Courtney Proctor, every time somebody looks her in the eyes, should feel every ounce of shame that she owns for what she did. Every ounce of it.
Fair enough, and that's all. I mean, but we're having two different conversations here, because
I don't think so. I don't hold nothing against Rita. I mean, but Rita is a strong person. All right, I don't hold nothing against Esty or Tom or Mike for any of them having that opinion. But somewhere in that opinion should be the disclaimer that this woman, Courtney Proctor, should not have any grace from any person until she apologizes to Karen. Because that is
the argument
above and beyond the shittiest thing you can do, aside from actually causing harm to someone.
But
people have actually killed themselves.
Shouldn't that standard be set by somebody who has to live there and face them?
I can't agree. I can agree to disagree.
I'm saying. I'm just playing devil's advocate here, because I don't live there and I'm not, you know. But I'm trying to be empathetic to everybody involved here, because I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. I get you're, because again, I agree in the sense that, because it's like this. Let me ask you this question: if Karen Reed were to just say fuck it tomorrow, right? If Karen Reed were to just say fuck it, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm just gonna plead guilty. I'm fucking tired. I'm just going to take a plea. I didn't do it, but I'm going to take a fucking plea. What would you do?
I would say it's her life to make that decision. It's her money to make that decision.
So but isn't it their life? Isn't it? I mean, it's wrong of her to do it, because technically she's innocent and there's corruption. And so
I feel like this is apples and oranges, because honestly, if Nathan said, it's like Nathan saying, no, you take a plea. You take a plea. Our family's tired of going through this.
Well,
so you need to hold the weight. And that's more what it's like.
I disagree. I mean, because you're putting the responsibility on the people that live locally in Canton to carry the weight of having to be at war with these people on a daily basis where they live. You know,
what you're putting it on them. Die on.
You're putting that on them.
That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is how is it any different for you to dictate how the people of Canton should be living and how Karen Reed should live her life?
It's not dictating how they live. It's saying, where is the morality in excusing this behavior? Where is it? This is not whether Karen goes to jail or not. This is a person wishing the death of another person. I cannot seem to wrap my head around that being equal to anything else.
I think that's something that you have to discuss with one of them, honestly, because I mean, I mean, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here and speak because I don't have a side here.
I don't have harsh bone in my body for
I
any
know,
of these people in Canton.
I know how I
It's
would.
for her.
I know
It's
how
for
I would handle it
Courtney.
in theory. I know how I would handle it in theory, but I don't know what I would do if I honestly don't know for sure what I would do if I was one of those people. I mean, we're talking about, you look at everything that Rita and anybody else has done, and they have fought daily since I started following this case. They inspired me to do what I'm doing here, because I'm like, if they're out there every day, the least I could do is speak up. If I feel as passionate about it as they do as an outsider, the least I could do is use my platform to speak up on it. You know, they inspired me.
I don't have a bad thought or feeling in any part of me for any of these people. I have complete and utter respect for the work that they've done and continue to do. I just find this to hit a completely different level of, I mean, even, I don't know, Grant, all these other people, they're jerks, they're this, they're that. They didn't wish anybody dead. Maybe they did, and I might be wrong. But I find it disgusting, reprehensible. There's no words to really put to it. But I just wanted to say that. That's it. Next time I call, be a nice girl. I won't say anything about nothing.
It's fine. You feel strongly about it and you wanted to speak up. That's what the phone line being open for. So it's fine. It's all good.
You have a good, wonderful rest of your day, and stay warm with Clubber. All right,
You too,
bye.
Dina. Bye-bye.
Call from
Jessica.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Will, is it really you?
No, it's not really me.
Okay, I have to tell you a secret.
Okay,
But
tell me a secret.
I don't think anyone can hear us, so we're good.
Nobody can hear us.
I went to Elizabethton, Tennessee a few weeks ago because my husband's cousin lives there. And I was really, really hoping that you were somewhere around Elizabethton, Tennessee, so I could run into you. But
Oh, wow.
you weren't anywhere that I was.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm in South Carolina, so you could just come over and visit me.
I was sorry that I wasn't in that very random, specific spot geographically for you to just randomly run into me in the very large state of Tennessee.
I know. Well, it was hopeful. But anyways, so this is how are we going to find anything out about the Proctor deal today? Is any of that getting actually
I don't
televised?
think no. I mean,
there's no speakers in there or anything.
Here, I could find,
because they have to keep the corruption on the down low, like what they're gonna do.
No, Ted Daniel put the last thing he tweeted was the thing that I showed earlier. That's it. He even said that he doubts that we'll get a result today.
Okay.
So,
well, I'm just gonna put out there. You probably said too much already. You should probably call back and say that I'm, calling from Southie or something. But I heard that maybe there's a care package being sent to Canton, Mass, to a certain address that might have some balloon knots in it. Just the knots.
What?
Facts. It's a care package. It might be going to the Proctor's house. That is just.
That's fucked up, man.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it's just. I don't know. It's one of those things that I'm like, I can't get behind that. Now if you got arrested for it, as long as you weren't breaking any laws, then I would defend you in that regard. But I definitely don't promote
How
that
is that
at all.
breaking
That's not
a law? It's not breaking a law.
I mean, I don't know, but it's definitely not cool. You know what I mean? Like, why do that? It's not for what?
Okay, talk
what's
me
it?
off the ledge.
What's it gonna do?
Just remind them of their disgrace.
I think they know. I think they get it. I think today they get it.
Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
Was anybody there? Do we know, like, was he allowed to have people with him, or was it just like a lawyer?
I'm not sure. I have no
Okay.
idea. Just hope that justice is served. That's all I can hope for.
No, I totally agree. But we're talking about Massachusetts, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, dear.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You also. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Can't get behind that sort of thing, man. Can't do it.
Call from.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, it's Gar from Canada. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you? Canada, huh? Sweet.
Yeah. Long time watcher, first time caller.
Okay, great. What'd you say your name was again?
Dar. D-A-R.
Dar. Okay, Dar. Okay, wasn't sure if I heard that right.
Or running on caffeine in your chat. Anyway,
Right on, okay.
To Dina's point, it takes a really lot to piss me off about a lot of things. When I get really, really, really bad, I've been known to scream at people, eat shit and fucking die, motherfucker. I don't actually ever really want people to eat shit and die. Sometimes people get very, very mad and say shit.
I didn't even know
maybe,
I didn't even know that sentence was in the Canadian language. I didn't know that you guys were capable of those words.
Oh yeah, we're the nicest, sweetest people until you totally fuck with us, and then we will fuck you up.
Okay.
But and we'll probably say sorry at the end of it, but we don't really mean it.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. And as far as Delphi goes, the cops that actually came up with the actual theory behind the Frank's memo, there were 3 good cops that did a really good investigation. 2 of them got killed, and the other guy got arrested right before trial, so he couldn't testify. Richard Allen was only in their police files. Nobody sent a tip on this guy or anything. They did an appeal to the public and said, if anybody was in this area, please come forward.
Yeah, this is what I heard. Yeah.
And then they came back 3 years later and then nailed the guy because the sheriff was up for re-election. And the judge actually makes Auntie Bev look fair and unbiased. She tried to fire the lawyers. She wouldn't let them bring in the third-party culprit that was developed by the police. And it sounds like a whack job theory, this whole Odin cult thing. But when you look into it, there was too much. It was actually really believable. They held him in solitary for a couple of years, and they actually had him being guarded by Odin guards. Guards were in that same Odin group. They're white supremacists. They're not actually really a cult. But if you want to check into it, Andrea Burkhart had the best coverage.
Yeah, Andrea
That's
Burkhart
not
is
even
great.
the half of it. So that was the Cliff Notes version and the high points. And I thought I'd call in and give my 2 cents and say, how's it going?
Okay. Yeah, I might just do that. The more I hear about it, the more I'm just like, all right, I need to, that's crazy.
It's definitely going up on appeal.
And see, I see that. It's people say he admitted it, but apparently he was like, wasn't he? Isn't there an argument that he was basically tortured to get a confession?
Yeah. According to like UN convention, you're not supposed to be in solitary more than 15 days. Your own US criminal thing says 30 days of solitary. Anything more than that is too much. And they kept him pre-trial in the highest security prison in solitary confinement. And the shrink that was working with him, he also had like depressive mental issues before any of this happened. They locked him away. They kept him away from his family. They had Odin guards on him. And the shrink that was supposed to be treating him
so crazy
was a true
when you say,
oh,
I don't know what Odinism is, so I just think of Thor, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
yeah,
I think of Anthony Hopkins
back
in
to
Marvel
Thor and the Vikings, but it's actually a white supremacist basis group.
Wow.
But yeah,
so it's like Viking shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Viking shit, but it's actually like white supremacist shit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And the shrink was a true crime junkie and was following Delphi. And she's her confession is the only confession that actually gives details that they used to prosecute him. And it was pretty much the only evidence that would really stand up, and a lot of stuff they just wouldn't even allow to be admitted. So the 30 times that he confessed, he was also eating his own feces, naked in jail, banging his head against the wall and being shot up with Haldol.
Oh, that
So
can't be. I
wouldn't-
mean, I can't believe that confession was considered admissible, if that's true.
Well, that's what they wanted. They wanted a confession, the same way that they wanted Karen to take a plea.
Wow. Well, I mean, but they didn't torture Karen, so.
Only because she had the money to stay out of jail.
Right. But I mean, Karen's case is quite different. I mean, they wanted her to take a plea, but they just went the most laziest way and they underestimated her. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Like all it took
they
was
thought
for her to
they'd
get
scare her into
it boils what it looks like is it just boils down to the fact that she was able to afford a good enough attorney that's going to do just enough digging into the investigation to go, wait a second, something's seriously wrong here.
Well, think about it. Chris Albert took a plea, and I'm sure Paul O'Keefe took a plea. There's all kinds of people that admit to drunken and driving and really badly hurting people or actually killing people, and they just take a plea and do a little less than a year. My cousin was killed by a drunk driver, her and her best friend, when they were 14. The guys went to a bar and started doing shots, so they couldn't prove the drunk driving side. And they got 9 months suspended sentence for killing two 14-year-old girls.
Yeah, there was a girl, I covered the case briefly, and I don't know whatever happened. I don't think any justice ever happened. But God, I can't remember her name. I have her face like it tattooed on my brain.
Yeah.
And when I first started my channel, I talked about it, and it was a similar thing where she was run over by a car coming out of the bar. There were witnesses who saw it happen, and the guy flashed a fire marshal's badge as if to say he was a cop and left the scene. And then when he got home, or he turned himself in, I think the next day or something, when the alcohol was out of his system, or something like that. And he didn't even get charged with vehicular homicide. Nothing. Like, he didn't get charged with anything. I can't remember what the name of this girl was, man. But she was gay, and they think it was a hate crime because he was yelling
slurs.
Yeah.
Before before he actually hit her. God, I can't remember her name. It's driving me crazy.
It's going to drive you nuts until
But
you
that was the thing, is it
and
barely
you're gonna
made
remember in the middle of the night and wake yourself up.
it barely made any news. And I just didn't have the footing as a YouTube creator. I don't even think I do, to create enough attention on it. And I just didn't draw enough attention on it. I tried, but I couldn't. But God, and I can't remember what her name was. I feel so bad. So long ago. It's like 5 years ago.
It'll come to you. But anyway, I'll let some other people gab for a while because international calls cost bucks. You have a good day. It was good chatting.
You too. Thank you so much.
No problem. Check out that Delphi bullshit.
I will. Thank you.
Call from
Emma from.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
No way, really? Hi, it's Emma from Massachusetts. How are you?
Hi, Emma from Massachusetts. I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. I'm actually homesick with like 13 trillion sick kids right now. I didn't think you'd answer, but I'm a little behind on the live, and I just wanted to save you from the previous
You didn't
million
think
crazy calls.
You didn't think I would answer because you're sick? What are you, stupid? Are you stupid or something? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, but I wanted to try to save you from some of the previous phone calls. I kind of felt bad for you, so I was trying to get through to you, but I didn't think I really would.
I'm sorry that you're sick. That sucks.
Yeah, it's been like a week long of hell, and now all my children are dropping like flies as well. But I'm trying to catch up on some of this drama going on. So I live on the Cape, so obviously I actually live like, I don't know, 0.3 miles away from Big Brian, Higgins there. And so it's crazy because it's the the awareness of Karen Reed has come down here so much. I see ladies and like free Karen Reed shirts at the school at pickup. It's really come around here a lot, and I just want to thank you for everything that you've done. I watch you every day, so
it's my pleasure, man. Thanks for watching.
Of course, we'll see what happens with this crazy saga of absolute ridiculousness. We look like clowns. If you live in Massachusetts, you are officially looking like a clown. It's crazy.
I mean, it's so obvious that like she's being friendly. Like, I don't understand why
It's
it's
so embarrassing. It is.
Yeah.
It's like humiliating. Like I'm on TikTok. Like people are like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, ... Massachusetts. Like a
Dude, I'm
complete
so past
state
the
of shame.
point. Yeah, I'm way past the point of questioning myself because mainstream media refused to cover all the facts. Like I'm way
It's
past
unreal.
that. Like now I'm just looking at mainstream media like you guys are fucking assholes. Like everybody
Who even
if
watches that anymore?
you're not doing your job. You're not doing your job.
No, exactly. And like the whole
Where I'm at.
Vinny thing is crazy. It is so crazy to me that he is able to have his own separate YouTube show. I mean, just for so many reasons. It's crazy to me. But for someone like who is out there, as much as I hate to talk about Court TV, is kind of the face for Court TV and is so well known, for him to have such a strong opinion as a former prosecutor. I mean, hello. I mean, we got Betterow. I mean, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like at
Betterow's
what point,
got nothing to gain except
Exactly.
getting the truth out there. He doesn't even have his own channel.
His poor man's brain cells are blowing by the second. His IQ level is just lowering every time he probably has to answer one of these ridiculous motions. It's crazy. It's like one of the cameras going to jump out and be like, surprise, like, you're caught on camera. It's a joke, because I'm still waiting for that moment.
Yeah. It's
crazy.
I can't even. Yeah, I'm done. Like I don't. Like you're just fucking stupid if you're sitting here acting like Kara Reed is guilty, or you're just not sure, and you're aware of all the facts of the case.
I can't wait to see where they're gonna do it.
If you're just learning about the case, I understand, because it's hard to believe. You know what I mean?
It really literally is actually unbelievable.
You're going to go into it. Like, if you don't know anything about the case, you're going to go into it wanting to disprove the theory of there being a conspiracy.
Exactly,
you're
like-
gonna do that. You're gonna
I
wanna
knew a
go
little
into
bit
it
about it.
assuming she's guilty.
Exactly.
You know?
I knew a little bit about it at the beginning just because I formerly followed Turtle Boy. He actually like published a story for me on an old employer back when COVID hit. So I followed Turtle Boy. So when I heard of like the arrest and everything, it kind of got me into it. And then I've just been a literally diehard since because I'm sitting here and I'm like, this is friggin' insane. Like, or am I like, pinch me? Am I living in the land of Delulu too? Or is it us? Like, is it us?
Right.
Because none of it, it literally makes you question your own like mental health and like sanity. You're like, what the fuck?
And I get it because you hear Turtle Boy being really the only one who's digging up these facts, and the way he's delivering them to you so abrasively is going to make right. I love it, but some people
if you're one of those soft friggin'
some people are going to
I'm not going to
some
say it, but
people aren't going to be
yeah.
able to look past that, and then they're going to say, coming from this guy, no way, and it's just
and
like,
then you throw in the witness intimidation, and then it just sounds even worse. I mean, it's even more
right.
It's more believable for the Commonwealth, and they don't even have any evidence to show. I mean, just because everything else, it's like, where does the defense stop? Like, do we bring it to the?
I mean,
the third party?
How many people are sitting in their house going, "Oh, Turtle Boy, who's Turtle Boy? Oh, wait, he's facing 9 felony charges for witness intimidation. Oh, fuck yeah, she's guilty." You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
it makes it look terrible.
Right, but you
and
have,
then
you have to fucking look at it and look at the facts. You have to. You don't. I mean,
I followed along from the beginning. I watched it with Emily D. Baker and Nurse, and I'm always with Nurse Kim. And it's just like I couldn't stop because my head's spinning, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, during the trial all summer, I was just glued, and every day I'd go to bed just like staring in that same stuck on stupid look that I had from the second that the judge took the bench that morning. It's insane. Poor Karen Reed. God bless her. I would be like, I'd be out of here. I don't know. I actually got a notice for jury duty, that was what I was going to say to you, which is kind of funny. And it's right prior to when the trial starts. And I was wondering, where the hell are they going to do it? Like where isn't there awareness at this point? That's going to be tough, having to figure out the whole venue. Are they going to retry it in the same courthouse?
I don't know.
The same count, Norfolk County jurors,
the same courtroom. Probably.
Oh, nice setup. That's luxury. That's luxurious right there.
They had the hearing, at least the hearing that I attended. They had it at the they had it in the original courtroom, but it's the courtroom that they motioned to move out of there. This is a bigger courtroom. It's a much bigger courtroom.
But she wanted it small. She wanted the smaller one, right?
She wanted the smaller one so that the jury could see everything.
Absolutely.
They felt like the jury. They felt like the jury couldn't really see everything in the bigger.
The jury clearly didn't hear everything either. After hearing some of the interviews, the jury clearly didn't hear a lot of it.
I mean, there's only so much they're gonna hear, and they're gonna zone the fuck out, dude. With Lally, dude,
I'm so ADHD. I would have been friggin', but after day one, my ADHD would have been out. I wouldn't have been. No way. I wouldn't. My facial expression. No, I think about that, and I remember zooming into you and Turtle Boy whenever it would come, on the screen when you guys were in the courtroom, and the facial expressions. It's just like, how do you not? I would now be the worst juror, absolute worst juror.
There's a troll in my chat, which is great right now.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not even looking at it. Hi.
He's a good troll. It's good.
We ain't got no quit. All right. Well, I gotta go check temps on my lovely children. It was good talking to you. You're my favorite, and keep on.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Feel better.
Good night. Thank you.
All right. Bye. Sweet, man. It's a cool caller. Yeah, Biffle's fine. Biffle's making me laugh. It's all good.
Call from.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Well, hello.
Well, hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Happy New Year, man. Wait a
Happy
minute.
New Year. Who's
You
this?
too, Josie. So I'm gonna call
Oh,
you
what's
from
up,
the
Josie?
last caller. Not
Okay.
much. Since the last caller saved you from the last caller, I'm gonna save you from the last caller. Is that okay? Do you think that
The
works?
last caller was good.
Yeah, but she said that she saved you from the last caller. I thought the last caller before the last caller was good too.
Okay.
So what's up with all this saving?
I don't know. What is
What's
up
going
with it?
on?
Not much.
Are you a fan? Are you a fan of Beanie lately?
Am I a fan of Vinny lately? I mean, no. I mean, I like Vinny. I've never met Vinny, but he seems like a personable, nice guy. But this whole the way that anybody's handling anybody who actually works for somebody who has to cover this case is handling this case in a shit way, and I'm just gonna call it out every time. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, he lost me. Do you remember the day that he had that show right before the closing argument? You remember, like he went in and he started talking about, if I was the prosecutor and I had this mischap about whatever, I would start by saying,
Well, that's the whole thing is, well, that was the whole thing is I listened to this guy followed the case the whole time. And now all of a sudden he's saying that the prosecutorial conduct here is weird. Like, what do you mean? It's been weird. It's been weird. The whole thing is a sham. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty tired of all of this. I'm getting like really pissed at Jen McCabe every time that I take another peek at one of the portions of her testimony. And did you know that Julie Nagel also? And I don't know how I missed that, but they were playing Julie Nagel the other day, and I caught Julie saying that, yeah, JJ told me to show her my phone, and she deleted the screenshot. And they go, JJ, who the hell is JJ? And she goes, Jen McCabe. So it's like, hell, what? And I'm looking at her. I had to review the whole thing. I mean, rewind it and go back to it. Peggy was in the courtroom when she said that. And they used to call John JJ. And all of a sudden, John dies. And it's like, Jen McCabe became JJ? Oh, you're letting up? I'm letting one too. So anyhow, it's like, what the heck? These people have no respect whatsoever. Why would she even say that in front of, I don't know. It's just, the entire thing is just combobulated. But I took a break right before New Year's and and right after, and I'm about to take another one. I need to go south sand bound because, oh my God, you are pale too. You need some sun. Yeah, we need some sun. This whole hibernating thing. Are you laughing at me again? I'm going to come back up here and look at you because the last time, you know what you did the last time? I was talking and you put something and you let me talk by myself. Blair.
Yes.
Hello?
No, I'm here.
No. Okay. But anyhow, the other thing that I was going to shoot at you, wait, so there's got to be another way to prove this house loan to die in the cold.
Okay.
So let me ask you a question. If you go to the barber shop and you just got a haircut and you know how long it took, would you come out of the barber shop and start Googling how long does it take for me to get a haircut?
No. If I was
exactly. So
if I had committed a crime, I would.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is, why would there be a need to Google how long to die in the cold if you already know that he's dead? You already told the 911 caller that he had been out there for 2 hours, and you told him he's passed. So why would you have a need to Google after 6:23 after you already called the 911 person? Why would you have a need to Google? Because Karen,
her
Karen
story,
is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I mean, we all
Near
know
her,
she's
near her.
dead. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's lying. We know that.
And yeah, and the other thing, then she said that she was calling Carrie, or she wanted to get a hold of Carrie's phone to find out how John was. And that was at 7:30 in the morning. She knows how John was. He was dead.
Right.
why can't we pin this woman? Why can't we nail this woman? Why is it so difficult to, people are talking about inconsistencies. How about the consistency? Because we have a lot of those.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know, man. I need Karen free, and I need her free, and I need somebody to get all the Alberts round up together. Did you know that somebody said that Kevin Albert got home around 10 minutes till 6 on that night? Somebody who apparently lives nearby. I can't remember whether it was Reddit or something, but there was a conversation between people, and one of the people was apparently lived nearby or is somewhat of a neighbor, and they were saying, yeah, I know that day he didn't come home 10-15 minutes before 6 o'clock. And I caught that. I took a snap, like a little screenshot of it, and I can't find it to save my life. But I remember reading that. So
yeah,
I changed my mind about Higgins. I don't think Higgins did anything. I don't think he laid a finger on him.
Okay, why?
I don't know, because first I think he's a chicken shit, and two, I don't think he had anything to do with it. I think he was there, but I don't think he even pushed him. I don't think he laid a finger on him at all. And before I thought, he got into it and he pummeled him to death. I was like so mad about Higgins and everything about him. And all of a sudden, after 6-8 months of scrutinizing things here and there, I changed my mind. I don't think Higgins touched him at all. I think it was between Chris, and I can't say that Kevin was there, but I'm leaning to believe that Kevin was there, Brian and Colin.
Okay. I don't know. I'm still thinking Higgins had more motive. So, but I mean, I still stand by. I have no idea what happened inside that house. All I know is John O'Keefe was inside that house. That's all I know.
Well, all I know is that he got pummeled and beaten down. That was not a car or the result of the Lexus either. So,
right.
I'm not sure how the heck we're gonna do this. Hey, mira, cuando tú tengas chance de que revisa lo que te mandé. Oíste.
Okay.
Pero no digas nada. Okay. Bye. Pero te mandé algo. Adiós. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Be safe, okay? All right, bye, sweetie.
Next caller. Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, you did, and I think Turtle Boy went over it too. Turtle Boy did a great stream talking about Jen McCabe's lies. She's a liar. Absolutely true.
Call from.
Holly.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Will. It's Holly from Rhode Island.
Hi, Holly from Rhode Island.
Hey, just trying to mute the TV here because I'm hearing myself. I didn't think I was going to get through either. So I am a long-time listener, first time actually calling in.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I got the phone straightened out. You've been getting some heavy calls today. It's been cracking me up.
Yeah, it's been an interesting day for calls. Yeah. It might just be me.
I don't think so. But I loved what you were talking about with Emma that called a couple calls ago. Watching this case and following everything for so long, once you see things, you can't unsee them. And I was just talking to a friend recently who's only heard the basic media stuff. And I just think it's wild, so I'm really thankful that you've been covering everything. Because it's really important to get it out there, and there's new listeners all the time.
Yeah. No, it is. That's what's crazy is just in this little community is where you're getting the full story. With Turtle Boy at the center of it. And the rest of us just sharing our opinions on it and helping spread the information. That's all.
Absolutely. And there's so many different people, different walks of life, you know, like you guys are just talking about Betero. You know, there's just so many of us that are very, very different people. And like I said, once you really sit down and pay attention to the facts, it's so hard not to see them.
Right. Right.
I just wanted to mention, sorry, as soon as I got on the phone with you, I had somebody that's relentlessly been trying to call in, so it's been throwing me off. But I loved your New Year's Eve coverage. I listened to it a couple days after. But what's his name? Captain.
Oh, Captain Kurt reacts. Yeah.
Yeah, he's phenomenal, and I loved the questions he was asking. Like, I really hope you do a show just with him, because I think that really.
I might.
Yeah.
It's funny. I totally unrelated. Today, I was like just out of curiosity, I went down a little rabbit hole of like because he's involved, I guess, like he's really close to Ryan Upchurch. And I was listening to, I just kind of let my YouTube playlist just kind of go through, like it made a playlist and just started going through. I didn't make it, YouTube just did it. And it started playing like the diss tracks that these other guys have been making about Ryan Upchurch. And
I haven't listened to him.
And he was Kurt was mentioned in one of them. And I thought it was funny. It was really, Kurt he was mentioned in one of them, and I was laughing. I was like, wow, Jesus.
I'm not familiar with those guys, and that was the
first it's funny because I'll probably never put any more thought into the dissing thing that's going on with the country rap. I have no idea, but I know that Captain Kurt and I butted heads because me and Ryan Upchurch butted heads on another case, and then he was just really, I mean, you listened to it. He just happened to be in the chat because I unblocked everybody, and then he came in and he was asking questions and he was respectful, and then now we're cool.
That's what I think was awesome. Yeah, especially for viewers that might, you know, maybe they're new and just starting to listen to all the facts of the case. You guys have had that mutual respect, but I loved that he was asking questions that I think we all asked in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, he definitely was asking all the right questions. He was definitely he was definitely looking at it very objectively. So I was really grateful. And he did a video on it. I just haven't watched it yet. I wanted to give it time because I don't want to take views away from him. But I'll review it. And I might even invite him on the show, but I probably won't review it without inviting him on the show. Because you know, that would be shitty. But the fact that he took the time, to make a video about it is pretty cool. So I still haven't watched it yet. But
yeah, I should go and follow him and check him out. But yeah, you know, just overall, I just find it so important to, especially what you guys are doing. I don't have any kind of like social media following. If I did, I'd be up there like you, because this is super important. Like, it's so beyond Karen Reed at this point. You know, just the corruption is just, there's just layers and layers and layers. And this is a big deal. This is a really big deal.
And I keep seeing this too, that Colin supposedly bragged to buddies about killing John. If there's anything valid to that, Karen's defense will get a hold of it and it'll come up in trial.
For sure.
Yeah.
And also Jen McCabe. I mean, I've known girls like her growing up, and like they can't keep their mouth shut, you know. And like as soon as I heard about the 227 Google search, like I was sold. Between that and the autopsy photos of John's arm.
That's it. The injuries in the 227 search, and that should be enough. But there's so much more. There's so much more. So
there's
it's like
so much I want to say to you, because again, there's so many layers. I just went through this with my friend.
So when I sit there and I see somebody like Vinnie Politan going, "Ooh, I don't know," I'm like, dude, stop it. Like, this is ridiculous.
Don't be a fence sitter.
This is ridiculous.
You know, he's like, Yeah, yeah. No, we need as many people. I mean, all that crap is just basic crap is out in the media, mainstream media, and you know, I don't know. There's so much I want to say. I'm getting myself caught up here, but you're absolutely right. And you know, like hopefully he just pays attention more and more. And I'd love to see him speak out against it more. But he seems like he's kind of keeping himself in a safe space, which I don't agree with.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and there's it's not safe though. That's the irony of it. It's like it doesn't benefit mainstream media to do this at all. Like what's going to end up happening is Turtle Boy is going to end up being revered for this when this is all over, right? And they're the irony of that is that they're avoiding stating the facts of this case because they know they have to credit Aiden for it, right? And and if they credit Aiden for it, then they're promoting independent journalism, and that is that's their mortal enemy. They don't want to promote independent journalism because mainstream media is controlled. The information that you get, it's all one conglomerate bullshit thing, and independent media threatens that. And if it becomes 100%. more reliable, then it becomes more reliable. People won't listen to mainstream media anymore, and it's already starting to happen. But what they need to do is embrace it. Try to recruit shit. That I mean, I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass, but try to recruit.
No,
shit.
you got some valid points though. Yeah.
Like get an independent journalist and hire them. But guess what? You're not going to be able to control a guy like Turtle Boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and you know what? We've needed people like Turtle Boy. I started following the case first, and then, of course, eventually you're like, who is Turtle Boy?
What you're going to start seeing happening is once Turtle Boy is revered for all of this, once they point out that Turtle Boy was responsible for all of this shit, then the idea of being an independent journalist is going to become that much more appealing publicly.
For sure. Yeah.
And mainstream media journalists are going to go independent. That's what's going to happen. They're going to go, why am I working for someone? I already have the name.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to keep cutting you off. That's what I was kind of saying is Vinny just trying to keep himself in that safe space where he can go either way right now.
Not really. Not really. Not this way. You know, I mean, I agree with you. I think that's what he's trying to do, but I don't see how, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't see how that's going to be beneficial towards him, to him. Now, he could. That's the whole thing. Is the way things are going, and the way that the Trump administration seems to be trying to veer things as far as the media goes, is to just destroy the entire structure of how mainstream media functions right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if that happens, then what's going to happen? Independent journalism is going to be the go-to. So those people who already have names established, like Vinnie Politan, like Christina Rex, you know, these are people like Ted Daniel. They could go independent, you know, but it just, hopefully that's what they do. Hopefully then these journalists who work for large media conglomerates will go, well, why am I answering to somebody telling me what to report, what I can and can't report?
Exactly.
Why can't I just report on my convictions and what I know is right?
Yep.
Why can't I just stick to the ethics? You know? Okay, well, I don't like the way Turtle Boy does it. How about I do what Turtle Boy does, but do it better? You know?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. No, that can't be a fun place to be in the middle. You know, I think one thing that a lot of us in this movement have in common is that we speak the truth. Authenticity is super important to us. You know, and
well, that's what I'm saying.
Of course,
like,
yeah.
Right. So, like, I mean, Turtle Boy, like, if you take away the legal expenses that he has to pay, Turtle Boy's doing really well financially. There's the incentive is there. If I'm Christina Rex or if I'm Ted Daniel, I'm going, what the fuck am I doing this for? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, there's no way that they're making substantially more than Turtle Boy is and not being able to do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah,
Like
you
Turtle
can't feel
Boy
good every
is
day
able to
getting
do.
up and doing that.
Right. Turtle Boy gets up every day going, I could say and do whatever the fuck I want. I don't have
Yep.
anybody to answer to. The only people that I have to answer to are my readers. And the only thing that they expect out of me is genuine and is being genuine, being forthcoming, telling the truth, and providing receipts, being reliable. That's what they expect of me, period. And as long as I
Yep.
provide that, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Definitely. And that opens up, that also, the more and more people that do what you guys are doing and speak up, I think it really just gives other people that comfort to start doing the same thing. And so we need that more and more. The world is waking up, and I'm pretty excited. I think this is all going to work out for Karen Reed in the end. And like I said, it's a lot bigger than that too. Just, the corruption in that state and many other states, obviously too, so it's, it sucks for Karen Reed actually being in the position that she's in, but I can't help but be a little excited because I do feel like this is all going to unfold into a really positive place.
I think so too. I mean, I don't see why it can't. Like, I mean, there's always casualties when it comes to like, things being fought in the name of justice and being right. There's always going to be that, but at the end, truth always prevails.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. Like I said, I'm holding myself back because there's so much I'd love to get into. Like I said, I've been around since the beginning here, but yeah. Thank you for, being consistent. It takes a lot of time. I've been healing from some injuries. Speaking of a drunk driver, I was hit by a drunk driver a few years ago.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, I've been rehabbing a lot of different body parts, to say the least. And so I've had the downtime. So I watched every day of that trial, maybe minus 2 days. So I've had the time to really, invest in it. But, we all have lives. And for you to, you have your own life and to get in and still be consistent and sharing this and getting the word out and the facts out, it's a really big deal, so I'm really
that's
thankful.
the way I look at it. Like, could I make more money as a YouTuber, and could I get a lot more followers as a YouTuber if I toe the line and watch my mouth? And sure, of course. But the thing is I look at it like, well, I make the money that I do, and I get to, and I have the following that I do because I don't compromise my own convictions.
Exactly.
That's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win.
And your people find you,
right.
And if you're,
exactly.
If there's
right.
other people covering the case, if you don't want to hear, a swear or this or that, you're my go-to. I mean, I listen to, the usual bunch, but I love listening to you. I'll be doing stuff around the house. I'll be in the other room, and you'll just say some stuff that just starts cracking me up, and
Totally.
we need that. Like, let's put a real voice on this, right? Because there's enough people being careful with it, but if you're feeling something, just say it like it is.
I mean, that's the whole thing. I'll if an advertiser contacts me, like Microdot's saying, answering to advertisers is out of the question. Absolutely. Now, not completely out of the question. If I get one of those emails, I always answer to them, but it's never going to happen where they're like,
right.
Okay, well, it's always a company that's like, well, you can, you just got to talk about our product for 60 seconds out of your live stream and blah, blah, blah. Okay. But if I do that, I'm going to make a joke out of it. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be sitting here on a rant and then go, oh, by the way, have you ever experienced this, and this, and this? I'm just not, it's not in my DNA. I can't do it. If I do that, I'm going to make a clown show out of it. I'm going to be silly, and it'll be out there, and you'll know about the product, but I'm not going to do much to sell you on it other than joke around.
No, unless it's something organic, like some great coffee company, reaches
Right.
out to you, then you're doing it anyway,
If it's the product that I actually use, yeah. But
Well, listen, I don't want to take up more of your time. The last thing I want to ask you is, I absolutely love your pup. What is his name? Because I always hear it wrong.
Oh.
Is it Clever or Clubber?
Clubber.
Like
Clubber.
the
Clubber.
awesome. He's always trying to get up there with you. I think you should get him a special seat right next to you.
Everyone says that, but he won't sit there. He prefers to be at my feet. He just comes up just because he wants to say hi and give kisses. That's it.
Yeah, true. I just,
He's
you know
just
how
a sweet
adorable
boy.
that would be to tune into the glare and there the two of you are
Yeah.
sitting. But hey, thank you for taking the time that you did. I'll definitely reach out again, but keep doing what you're doing. And you know, there's a lot of us that haven't reached out before that really appreciate everything you've done over the last long time.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for calling and listening. I appreciate it. It means the world. Thanks.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. All right, guys. That's it for me. I'm going to wrap this up. You guys are fantastic. Thank you guys for all the support. You guys are unbelievable. If you guys are feeling generous, again, Karen Reed's Legal Defense Fund link is pinned to the top. Please feel free to donate to it. Turtle Boys is in the description as well. But I am going to wrap this up. Please hit the like on your way down if you haven't already. All the new subscribers, I hope you're enjoying the channel. Thank you guys so much. You guys are absolutely fantastic. I am going to wrap this up. I love you guys very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.